So if you've ever moved your space around 10, 20 times and it still doesn't feel right, this video is definitely for you. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Juju here, and today we are going to be talking about one of the most overlooked but most important aspects of design, and that is space planning. Yes, space planning. I know that sounds extremely boring, but when I tell you, it has a huge impact on your space. So you definitely want to stick through the whole video because there's lots of space planning topics that you would never know you don't know. I'm going to break down 10 key space planning efforts that are going to make your space feel effortless. I know we all want our home to feel like an aesthetic Pinterest board, but before we think about aesthetics, we definitely have to think about function. The first thing I ask all of my clients before I design their space, and something you should ask yourself, is what am I going to be using this space for? What's the function of the space? Is it entertaining? Is it studying? Is it a calming area, a nursery? Or is it a little mix of everything? Where I'm going to be moving to, I'm going to have a library / office / guest room / YouTube studio. So the function is going to determine what furniture you get. So for example, if you love hosting, maybe prioritize seating over a big bulky coffee table. Or if you work from home, prioritize your desk area over maybe an additional playroom or something like that. Like, think about what you're going to be using the space for and prioritize that in your design choices. And once you nail that down, the design process becomes so much easier. So you might have heard of the rule of thirds in film and photography, but this can also be applied to design. When you look at a room, take it and split it down the middle into a grid of 3 sections. And you'll see that all the furniture will fall into one of these lines, and that's really, really good design. Instead of treating your home as one big block, break it up into different zones and see if the furniture falls on these visual grid lines. It'll just help with the ease of the eye. We naturally like to have that kind of symmetry. And it's not always symmetrical, but there's a balance that comes when you use the rule of thirds. You'll see it when you watch television, but you can also find it in a lot of well-designed spaces. It's going to make your space feel dynamic and visually interesting instead of flat. This is a fun one, but tip number 3 is the art of negative space. So actually having space that is empty, it gives the eyes time to rest. Good design isn't just about what you put in, it's also about what you leave out. Negative space or areas left intentionally empty makes a room feel balanced and uncluttered. So if your room feels off, take a look around the room and say, would it improve this room if I actually removed something? Would it give my eye a rest? And just play around with it and see if it works. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about traffic flow because there's nothing worse than an overcrowded room that you literally have to do gymnastics to get around in. Have you ever been to a house where you have to awkwardly squeeze around furniture just to get from one side to another? That's a sign of bad traffic flow. And a good rule of thumb is to leave at least 3 feet of walking space between items. But I'm also going to touch on the spacing of certain key things that we use pretty much every day. So we're going to touch on the TV, the coffee table, and maybe even some pictures and mirrors. So mirrors and photos, for the most part, if they're, about this big, should be just slightly above eye level, unless it's a very grand piece of art where it's from floor to ceiling. That's the exception. Coffee table. Your coffee table should have at least 6 inches between 3 to 6 inches. No, I wouldn't even say 6 between the sofa and the coffee table. So the coffee table and the sofa need to be at least this far apart, just for flow. And you want to be able to set your coffee down, but you don't want it to be right up on you either. So this is a good amount of space to have between the two. So next, we're going to talk about your TV. Your TV should not be mounted super high. It really gives a cheap feel. It looks like a man cave. You should put it about 12 inches above your credenza or whatever it's placed above. So your bookcase, your credenza, your storage unit, about 12 inches up will create a nice styled look, and it's within eye line. You don't want it too high up, and you definitely don't want it too far down. Oh, and then I just want to touch on spacing for gallery walls. Your photos should be about 2 inches apart. When they start getting to 3 and 4 inches, it doesn't look professionally done. It doesn't look cohesive. I think that's the best way to describe that look. You want to put them about 2 inches apart. That's going to give a cleaner look to your gallery wall. This is one spacing element that I see done wrong quite a bit, and it does make a huge impact if your photos are properly spaced apart. Again, I would say about 2 inches apart. Another spacing tip, your curtains should just brush the end of the floor. Too high up, no, that's a big no-no. And too long, also a big no-no. You want them to just touch the bottom of the floor. And my last spacing tip is the rug. You 100% need to get the right size rug. Your rug anchors the space, it anchors the room, it makes the room feel grounded. Otherwise, it just feels like it's floating and incomplete. Tip number 5, you want to anchor your space with a statement piece. If you look at a well-designed room, every room has a statement piece, whether it's a really beautiful piece of art that the rest of the room is designed around, or the bed, or a coffee table, or from my living room, it's this wall unit. That's definitely the statement piece in the room. You want to pick a statement piece and design around that. It's the showstopper of the space. The main character, I should say. This is going to anchor everything else in the room. Raise your hand if at any point in your life you've ever pushed your sofa up against the wall. Raise it. I know. Don't worry, we've all been there. But believe it or not, floating your furniture can actually make a room feel bigger. Yes, it can make a room feel bigger. When you push everything against the wall, it feels disjointed and it does make your space look smaller. But floating your furniture in the middle of the room gives a more intentional and styled look. Here's a lighting hack that most people don't realize. Your lighting should come in 3 different layers: above the head lighting, eye level lighting, and floor lighting, or floor level or low level lighting. This makes your room feel warm, cozy, and intentional. Your room feels more warm, more cozy, and less flat. Tip number 8, your rug is probably too small. A rug just grounds the space. You want to make sure that all of your furniture is touching your rug, at least a couple of inches on top of the rug. If your rug is just floating underneath the coffee table, like a little 2x4 rug, burn it. Okay. You want to make sure that your rug is large enough to touch all the pieces of furniture in the space because it's the anchor of the room. Yes, the statement piece also anchors, but the rug is really the main anchor of the space. It defines the area that you're in and really ties everything together. Number 9, you definitely want to consider your sightlines when you walk into the room. Whatever you look at, whatever you're first seeing in the room, is it nice to look at? For example, For example, you might come across this dilemma with your living room. Do you want them to look at the back of the couch when they first come into the space? Or do you want the first thing that they see be the front of the couch? Do you want the first thing they see to be the TV or a beautiful piece of art? So really consider the sightlines, what you're seeing. Also, in an entryway, do I want to see a bunch of jackets laid out on the floor? Or do I want to make the main entrance maybe this other area where it's a lot cleaner, a lot more pleasant? Think about what you're seeing when you first walk into the room. Is anything disrupting your view? Is anything messy? Is anything an eyesore? Those are spacing details that you should think about when creating a well-styled room. And lastly is number 10, which is scale and proportion. This is definitely the secret to high-end styling. Ever wonder why some rooms feel super luxurious while others feel kind of off? It's really all about scale and proportion. Avoid tiny decor on big walls or massive furniture in small rooms. Balance is key. And that is it for today's video. I hope you guys learned some fun tips on space planning for interior styling. My name is Julene. I am so glad that you made it this far. If you haven't already, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next weekend. I'm hoping that I can get a makeover for you guys pretty soon, so stay posted. I'm also going to be moving not too soon, not too far, so make sure you stick around for that and turn on your notifications so you don't miss it. I love you all, and I'll see you next weekend. Bye.